Extreme Outer Limits is presented by Night Force Optics. Precision optics for precision shooting.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Extreme Outer Limits. As we sit here in our studio in our shop, we are ringing in another season. Just over about the last 18 months, maybe 2 years, so about 3 to 4 show seasons, we've been getting asked why we're doing some lead-up episodes or episodes that are kind of taking viewers along on the hunt, not necessarily killing, but maybe a continued episode afterwards where we actually do harvest. So long story short, Extreme Outer Limits started airing in the summer of 2011. How television is made is you have to have enough content or enough episodes in the can, as we call it, so that the TV show is always airing and we have enough content or episodes to bridge the gaps between your spring seasons and your fall seasons. So everything that we started to air in 2011 was actually filmed in 2010 and so on and so forth as this goes forward. So everything that everybody's watching right now, as this episode will run, actually happened a year ago. What we're doing is we're getting to a point that there's so many dynamics in the hunting industry, just the world of hunting in general. And for me, it really revolves around not being satisfied or not wanting to take immature game. Some guys will watch this episode and possibly perceive it as though, oh, Bob, you've just turned into a trophy hunter. And I'm not insinuating that that's the only way to be or anybody needs to be anyway, for that matter. I mean, you should do whatever makes you happy as a hunter. Go out and do whatever makes you happy. But when you film for television, the dynamic that's slightly different is that you have a certain amount of episodes that you have to make in a calendar year so that the television show runs every single week. And what I've started to feel the last year and a half to 2 years is that I'm harvesting game or am going out to harvest game that I maybe just don't want to. Now that could be from a multitude of reasons. Possibly it's that I'm passing underage or smaller animals, just bucks that don't make the cut or bucks that maybe I've harvested a lot of. And so as a hunter, you're always trying to excel and exceed and keep things fresh and exciting and whatever keeps the fire burning. Well, when you've filmed as many episodes as we filmed over the years, we're 8 years of filming going into 9, and you look at that being 26 episodes a year, you either want to pass so that another hunter has an opportunity to shoot something that might be extraordinary to them, or possibly it's a youth hunter could get an opportunity at something like that. And it's not going to necessarily satisfy me more so as I'm just taking another animal to make a TV show. So I've been struggling with this for a while because I don't want to necessarily make it sound like it's senseless killing, because it's not. I enjoy all the hunts. I love hunting. I love supporting this industry in any way that I can. I love participating in this industry any way that I can. I just want to do hunts that fulfill me. We're going to start airing some shows that are geared around taking the viewers along on the hunt with us, from the travel, the logistics, some of the finer things that make part of the experience, not just what you see boiled down to 20 minutes of let's do this, this, and this, and then the gun goes off and there's a hero pick and animal in the truck and off to the next show. What we're trying to do is show the viewers the finer points of a hunt, actually step back from just being so systematic and showing up on site, killing X animal, and leaving to the next one and just knocking out 26.
This segment is brought to you by the Night Force NXS 5.5 to 22 rifle scope. Available in 50 and 56 millimeter objectives. Features the high-speed zero stop, a 30 millimeter tube allowing for 100 minutes of adjustment and multi-coated glass, producing superb resolution at high magnification. The new Zeiss Victory RF laser range-finding binocular provides you accurate ranges and ballistic corrections from 11 to 2,500 yards. A fully customizable ballistics platform, Bluetooth connectivity, and a phenomenal binocular all in a compact and lightweight unit. The new Zeiss Victory RF is EOL's rangefinder of choice.
Rewinding the clock back to the early years of Extreme Outer Limits, we definitely found ourselves trying to plan hunts that were travel coordinated or close to home. What we used to do, and vastly due to my opinion, was that I felt like when we got into the television game, people tuned in for one reason and one reason only. They didn't tune in to hear me talk. They didn't tune in to hear me make silly jokes. They tuned in simply to watch hunts that they could either relate to or animals to get harvested with cool shots or cool gear. And so I felt like to make a mark or kind of get, wedged in our little area of the TV world, that we needed to produce kills on every hunt that we went on, no matter what. And a lot of them we would try to harvest two. We would break the show into two, and Chris would get something and I would get something. And I felt that if the show was moving along like this all the time, people would not turn the channel and walk away. And it worked really well for a really long time, to be honest with you. I think that people did engage with the show and people did give us the feedback of, hey, I love Extreme Outer Limits because if I watch it, we're going to actually see something get shot. We're not going to be watching just another reality show or something like that. Fast forward the clock, now times are changing. I believe, and possibly I'm just validating this to myself, but I believe that by taking the viewer along on the hunt and even showing more mature animals on film can be more engaging than just shooting the first antlered animal that you find, or what you can find in a 3 to 5 day hunt, because you've got to blast out of there and get onto another hunt in order to keep making that episode count. I feel like by setting up a pre-episode on, say, a 2-part, or even some hunts that are a 3-part because they're a hunt that we've done in the past, so you can start off with a look back of showing how the hunts have been done in the past, the caliber of animals, maybe how things have changed. Could be season, it could be weather, it could be just a fire came through, it burned, whatever, or even just animal patterns have changed in that area. So you can build it up there. You can show a scouting, maybe you can get a chance to show, hey guys, there was a good portion of the year that we did all these trail cam sets, and we did, velvet antler scouting, and we really started to try to break down the areas and the animals that were there to try to find the most mature, and then go on to another episode where you're actually going to, full-blown conduct the hunt and harvest an animal. It could be as long as that, or it could be, hey, we've got a really good tag in an area that's known for mature game. So we're going to show up, we're going to show the scout, the build-up, the logistics, everything that goes into it, and then we're going to continue on by showing a lot of above-average animals on the roll of the show instead of showing just a bunch of average or below-average animals. And then maybe you continue on to episode 2 where you conclude the hunt. I'm feeling like, for the right reasons, that could be perceived as an equal of quality or even a greater quality production than just going and slamming them out and essentially killing a bunch of game that are not memorable, or they just slip through the cracks. And And I think this is something that anybody that's been in this game long enough probably feels, but might have never said. Maybe they're concerned that the sponsors are not going to support them. Maybe they're concerned the network's not going to support them. Maybe they just feel their viewers are going to think it's boring. I don't know. I guess I'll know soon, because I feel ethically that I, as a hunter, want to go out and harvest the most mature animal that I can find on any tag that I have in my pocket. And sometimes that takes an exorbitant amount of time. And if I'm spending an immense amount of time trying to find the one, that means I'm going to be passing a lot of good ones, but I'm going to be burning up the time clock so that I'm not able to just continue down the road and produce and slam out, double kill episodes or something like that. So yeah, as we continue on this journey, we're going to really try to put our best foot forward and continuously try to find the most mature animal that we can.
This segment of Extreme Outer Limits was brought to you by the Extreme Shooting School, hosted by Bob Beck, an information-packed 2-day class. For more information, go to extremeouterlimitstv.com. This segment is brought to you by the Extreme Store. For all your brass, bullet, and ammunition needs, head to extremestore.us.
As we get into the final segment of this episode, I want to reflect back on a few of the hunts that we have done over the years that will lead us into our next episode. We're going to be starting with a deer hunt in Oregon, where we have a early season opportunity to harvest a velvet buck. But before we get there, I want to talk about a couple of the other hunts that we have done over the years that have helped lead us to where we are now. We had a couple of really good hunts, starting with the Bear Ranch in Colorado. We've hunted that ranch, truth be told, well before the TV show. I've known the family a long time, great people, great piece of property, and I hunted it back before the TV show, which actually helped me to get on the ranch for the TV show. I work with Jim Bear himself, and great guy, totally will help you get booked in, whatnot. And we've been on a few deer hunts there and killed a few really good deer. And then lo and behold, I killed a deer there that just broke 200 in the snow. So that was a really memorable hunt. Going forward from that, again, building on leading to this mule deer in Oregon, and in that upper class, we were in Sonora, Mexico, Mule connection, and it was the last hour of the last day. And there again, right, it's having the patience and putting your nerves at bay to pass everything so that you might have an opportunity that you wouldn't have had otherwise if I would have shot in day 3, 4, 5 on a 6-day hunt, even shot the morning of the last day. Had I not waited and been willing to go home with nothing, this opportunity would have never happened. This was a very large deer, extra points, beautiful Sonora buck, rutting a doe. Like I said, last 45 minutes of the last day, absolutely amazing that we even got an opportunity to deer like this. We'll conclude with another giant, and this was at our Star Valley camp. The thing that drew me to it the most, and again, I hunted this camp well before TV, was the trophy mule deer. And we, in the high country, the weather can be crazy, and as we know out west, sometimes when you get inclement weather or snow, magical things can happen. And we had an opportunity to go up in the snow, kind of at the tail end of a storm. Deer movement was out of this world, and we were actually looking for another deer that we had spotted in the spotting scopes from camp, a couple miles up on one of the hills, and wasn't able to locate that particular buck, but somehow, some way, I picked up a buck that was bedded in these little pines in the snow, and at one glance at that deer, we knew it was an absolute giant. And so I won't spoil it all, but you guys, some of you have seen it already, and we'll roll it now, but one of the biggest typicals killed in the state, right? I mean, it's just a true giant deer. So we've been fortunate enough over the years to have a chance at some really, unique and truly giant animals. And I think that's what has kind of helped me progress as a hunter, to go ahead and pass some of those less mature or animals that are just not gonna, fulfill that burn that a guy has inside. So anyway, as we conclude this episode, let's take a look at these 3 giant bucks, and then next week, early season velvet mule deer hunt right here in Oregon.
This segment of Extreme Outer Limits is brought to you by Benchmark Barrels, the rifle barrel of choice for long-range hunters, competition shooters, and sport shooters worldwide. Ask for one on your next rebarrel or custom rifle build. This segment of Extreme Outer Limits is brought to you by Kestrel Ballistics Weather Meters, the perfect match of long-range ballistics and environment. Get precision aiming solutions for your gun, your load, and your shot.
How far is he? All right, I'm gonna take him. Chris, just smoked. Did you see how big that buck was? He's done. Chris, can I hand you that? Guys, I'm about ready to grab, by far, my biggest Bear Ranch mule deer. Look at this. Oh my gosh, guys. Look at the size of this thing. That deer had a lot of points, guys. You said you might want to shoot it up. I don't need to hear anymore.
I didn't even know how to get my ears plugged.
Good job, buddy.
What is it? I mean,
he's a 5 on the right. He's short.
he's a little short time, but
He's a little short time, but he's 28. He's heavy. He's probably 190. Just throwing.
190 in the 11th hour. Yeah. I think we take that all day long, right? Is this really happening right now? I mean, seriously, is this really happening right now?
Is that not the showiest buck?
What in the heck have we done, team?
Look at the my guards, dude. Look at that.
Oh my
what were we
God.
just talking about? Bob Robb's buck, remember?
Yes.
That frame was that was like a 7x7. Dang near the same type of frame. I mean, that's a giant inline. Inline off the G4, you never see that.
You're right, because he's technically forked off like he's supposed to be.
Right. And then this fork.
So what is he? 8? What, 8?
8x6.
What does this deer score?
Oh Lord.
I don't know, dude. Big enough.
Big. That's a good one.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna shoot this deer. Are you ready, Brian? Up and right or what?
Yeah, to the right.
There you go.
Going up the hill.
Yeah. Got him.
Oh, yeah. You got him. You hit him. Good, good.
Go down. Go down. Woo! He's a nice buck. That's a good deer, man. Woo! That's a good deer.
That is of a buck.
That's a hell of a buck.
Good job. This deer, I'm gonna say it, and I never say it without knowing, but this deer is a 200-inch typical. I don't care what anybody thinks or says. This deer is a 200-inch typical. Look at it. He's every bit of a 28-inch inside spread. He's got monster beams, 26-inch plus beams, huge forks, giant mass. Look at the brows. Look at this deer from the side. It's got a cheat here. Look at this. He just lays. I mean, look at this. This is what dreams are made of right here.
Extreme Outer Limits is brought to you by McMillan Stocks, Benchmark Barrels, Kestrel Ballistics Weather Meters, Night Force Optics, MOA Rifles,